The 10 continents, crossed by the King Dao, became the leader of a low-level sect that was about to be abolished. However, when he learned about this world, he expressed his face covered in circles. What kind of world is this with shattered values? How could disciples trade? I'm still some kind of lucky person. The most headache is that the golden finger at made him crossover collapsed. Fortunately, before he collapsed, he was left with some benefits. Hee. Brother, even disciples with divine-level talents in their hands don't know how to teach. It's a waste for you. Come on, trade it and I'll give you a millennium elixir. What? How could you have a millennium elixir? I have it all for 10,000 years, what about buff for 10,000 years? Hee. Brother, that disciple without superior physical cultivation talent is not bad. You can't recognize him either. Give him to me. Give him an imperial-level martial arts technique. You, a low-level sect, actually have imperial-level martial arts. Do you want to have a more advanced understanding of me, refining the deduction of 100,000-year buff? Let's see how Wang Dao utilizes the benefits left behind to create magnificent glory in this eerie world. Main characters. Wang Dao, Liao Yaquan. Keywords of the novel. The strongest leader, I have 100,000 years of buff without pop-ups. The strongest leader, I have 100,000 years of BUFF complete collection download. The strongest leader, I have 100,000 years of buff latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. True Fragrance. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Stone Ring, third class talent of mortal body, pass. Zhong Shaoling, a first class talent in mortal form, pass. Han Ergu, with a 9th grade talent in mortal form, is not qualified. At the entrance of Qinghe small village on the border of Shuhai City, a man with tied hair dressed in green clothes is standing in the center of the village square, shouting loudly. There was a stone platform placed in front of him, embedded with a square white crystal board. Young girls and boys who had just turned 12 were queuing up, nervously preparing to place their hands on the crystal board, because the light emanating from the crystal board would determine their future destiny. On both sides of the stone platform, the young girls on the right looked desolate and sad, as if they had completely lost hope for life and the future. Even a few of them had sat on the ground silently shedding tears. The young boys and girls on the left, however, were full of excitement, as if they were already longing for the legendary life they were about to embark on. Their eyes were fixed tightly on the high platform not far in front of them, watching the 5 people sitting on the platform, with their backs straight and trying their best to radiate their youth and vitality, hoping that those 5 people could take a look at themselves. However, they consciously overlooked one thing, which was that there were not 5 people sitting on the high platform, but 6 people. In the right corner, there sat a young man who was not much older than them. Compared to the other 5 people, who were either rough, lewd, or fierce in appearance, the young man in the corner looked even more approachable. Sword eyebrows and starry eyes, a handsome face, dressed in white clothes, graceful and agile, and a gentle smile that gives people a feeling of being bathed in spring breeze, as if a young master from an immortal family has emerged from a painting. To be eye-catching, he is the brightest star on the high platform. Unfortunately, in this martial arts-oriented continent of the 10 directions, the strength of the handsome young man in the dual realm of quenching body is truly unbearable. Not to mention being a sect leader. Xiao Daozi, how did it feel to choose an apprentice for the first time? Do you want Uncle Xing to let you choose first? As long as these little brats are willing to go. The rough man looked at the handsome young man and laughed heartily, his laughter and expression full of ridicule. Master Xing, you don't have any sincerity in your words. The other person, Master Wang, just took over the Xuandao sect. Are you bullying people like this? Xuandao sect is almost defeated and in ruins, who is willing to go? Bullying children, I won't agree. The big man with a face full of flesh and scars grinned, saying he won't bully, but his eyes seemed to tell everyone that he really wants to bully this handsome young man. The fierce light in my eyes is about to devour people. Stealing and stealing. With a lewd expression on his face and a withered figure, the old man let out a strange laugh. Master Wang, otherwise the old man will let you take advantage of it. I heard that there is another disciple of your Daoist sect, who is still a little beauty. Can you exchange it with our happy sect? How about giving you a miscellaneous worker who has been in the sect for 5 years and has been tempered 3 times? Ha ha ha. It's not easy to take out a waste that only quenches its body 3 times in 5 years. Wang Dao, I'll give you a waste that quenches its body 4 times in 3 years. That's enough, isn't it? Liener belongs to me. A fat, pig-like man with a jade chair that could hardly hold on laughed. Wang Dao, the name of a handsome young man, is also the new leader of the Xuando Mountain and Xuando sect. With a faint smile on his face, he glanced at the middle-aged woman sitting next to him and asked, Liao Yaquan, doesn't Master Liao have anything to say? Humph, my lord has nothing to say with the trash, Liao Yaquan said coldly. I have nothing to say, but I speak the heaviest. Suddenly, it attracted the teasing laughter of the other 4 sect leaders, and the laughter was deafening, as if the existence of the royal way was just a joke. Faced with such ridicule and abuse, Wang Dao showed no anger at all. Instead, he gratefully punched Liao Yaquan and smiled faintly. Thank you, Master Liao, for helping me reject the kindness of the 4 masters. I borrow your kind words. In one sentence, the laughter came to an abrupt end. The 4 great sect leaders widened their eyes in anger, and Liao Yaquan's face became even colder, his gaze fixed on the royal path. Wang Dao, say it again. What a big dog bile. You, a fallen sect leader, who gave you the courage to speak to us like this? Angry shouts of abuse erupted, causing even more vibrations in the audience. Every move on the high platform is constantly being watched by the audience, and when Wang Dao angered the 5 major sect leaders, it left everyone in the audience stunned. Is the leader of the Daoist sect crazy? How dare he provoke the 5 great masters? I think he's in a state of disrepair. A low-level sect in the Xuandao sect is about to be abolished. Is this little brat leader planning to go crazy once before the sect is abolished? Crazy. I think it's just seeking death. I still don't know how to please the 5 great masters. After deposing the sect, you'll be a dead person. The villagers watching the apprentice selection ceremony from the audience murmured softly, each mocking Wang Dao with a disdainful expression on their faces. Do you want to die? Liao Yaquan looked at Wang Dao coldly, as if declaring a verdict. Wang Dao, on the other hand, showed no fear in this sentence-like expression, and his gentle smile gradually became cold. He scanned the 5 people and said, Can you kill them? You. The 5 of them had a cold gleam in their eyes, as if they were about to crush Wang Dao into a scum in the next moment. However, in a blink of an eye, the 5 of them forcibly suppressed this impulse. Liao Yaquan said coldly, You are about to depose your sect, killing you is easy. Wang Dao sneered, his eyes full of sarcasm. Although Xuando sect is a lower-level sect, it is a subordinate sect of Xuando sect, a higher-level sect. The sects of these 5 people are also lower-level sects, but they are only subordinate sects of the middle-level sect. They dare not provoke Xuando sect at all. Before abolishing the sect, they dare not take action against Wang Dao. Because this is about an important rule on this 10-sided continent. Then you may never have this opportunity again. Wang Dao sneered. Liao Yaquan sneered and said, Wang Dao, have you not woken up yet? Your sect, Xuandao sect, has long been desolate. There is only Mu Liener, a disciple who has no talent and has been transformed from a maid to a disciple. He has not made any progress in this year. Unless he can recruit disciples with talent this year, Xuandao sect's luck will disappear, and Xuandao sect will eliminate you. Xuandao sect will not have any luck and will naturally become a deposed sect. Speaking of this, Liao Yaquan's palm suddenly covered in a layer of precious blue light, emitting a cold mist. His eyes were smeared with a cruel gaze, and he said, "Then, I will make you understand what life is better than death." Wang Dao glanced at Liao Yaquan's palm and smiled calmly, saying, "Are you so certain that I won't be able to recruit disciples this year?" Ha ha ha. The rough Han actor laughed out loud, pointing to the young girls and boys below, and said in a loud voice, "Do you still want to recruit disciples? Ask the little ones below who would like to join your Taoist sect. Tell him. Are you willing? Of course not. Who would be willing to join this useless sect? Master Xing joining your sect is my dream." As soon as the big man finished speaking, countless pleasing and flattering voices came from below. The young girls and boys in the audience were eager to express themselves, and they looked at the king with disgust, using the most vicious words of their lives to belittle the Xuandao sect, hoping to be recognized by the big man. Did you hear that? The big man sneered arrogantly, glaring fiercely at Wang Dao and said with a stern expression, "You're dead." Really? Wang Dao sneered as he looked at the 12-year-old children below the stage, shook his head, and said indifferently, "At a young age, I tend to follow the crowd. I really don't know how my parents teach me, but it's okay." Wang Dao stood up, took 2 steps forward, looked down at the children below the stage, and asked loudly, "Are you sure you won't come into me to find the Taoist sect?" Of course not. What kind of place is Xuandao sect? Ghosts are willing to join. I just can't join the sect, I can't become a martial artist, and I won't join the Dao-seeking sect either. Wang Dao narrowed his eyes and gently lifted his right hand. The emerald green jade ring on his index finger flashed with a hint of white light. Then, he saw a cloud of orange light rising from Wang Dao's right palm, and a warm sun-like aura filled the air. It seems that no one will be able to benefit me, the warm grass that has been around for thousands of years. Wang Dao pretended to mourn and said the noise disappeared instantly. There were only bursts of intense coughing and swallowing sounds left. Countless people stared blankly at the warm mist in the hands of the king, their eyes almost condensed into substance with disbelief. The 5 great masters on stage suddenly stood up, looking bewildered. Wanyan Wenqi grass. How could this waste have such a treasure? Is God blind? Feeling the shocking atmosphere around him and enjoying the wide-eyed surroundings, Wang Dao casually flipped his wrist and grabbed onto the mist. The mist slowly dissipated, and a grass branch about 10 centimeters long, emitting orange light all over, appeared in his hand. Wang Dao took a sniff in front of his nose and looked at the crowd below with a faint smile, saying, "It's really fragrant." Chapter 2. Busy Bottom Draws. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Warm qi grass, one of the most common herbs on the 10 Directions continent and also the most common pill, is the main material of warm qi pill. Warm qi pill is one of the basic elixirs given to disciples by every sect, used to warm and nourish internal qi and assist in cultivation. It can be said to be an essential elixir for daily cultivation. Ordinary warm air grass is not worth money, and can even be said to be a rotten street. But the perennial warm air grass is different. Herbs have a standard lifespan, with 10 years being a good medicine, 100 years being a heavenly medicine, 1,000 years being a sacred medicine, and 10,000 years being a divine medicine. Among the lower-level sects, not only are there sacred medicines and divine medicines, but there are very few heavenly medicines that need to be exchanged from the middle-level sects or even the higher-level sections. There are not many good medicines, only for those core disciples to use, and it is better to use one less than one. Not only is it difficult to refine, but herbs with years are even rarer. Artificially cultivated herbs rarely last more than 10 years, and those over 100 years old, not to mention low-level or high-level sects, cannot be cultivated. So herbs of high age are truly wild treasures. According to the different years and levels, the effects of the refined elixirs are vastly different. The warming qi pill made from good medicine is 10 times more effective than the ordinary warming qi pill. The warm qi pill refined from heavenly medicine has undergone a qualitative transformation, transforming from an auxiliary cultivation pill for warming and nourishing internal qi to a treasure for accelerating the extraction of internal qi. The warm qi pill refined from the holy medicine has a staggering effect. Its efficacy is 100 times that of the heavenly medicine. That is to say, it can accelerate the extraction of internal gas by 100 times. It can even be said that an ordinary person, as long as they practice martial arts, even the most ordinary level martial arts, a holy medicine warm qi pill can elevate them to 5 levels of body quenching in a day, and the medicinal effect is enough to make them practice to 6 levels of body quenching. The holy medicine warm qi pill is so domineering. A pill can already guarantee a quenched 6th level warrior. As for the divine medicine, it completely transcends the level of the warm qi pill and will undergo a secondary transformation. The warm qi pill is only effective in the quenched body realm, but the divine medicine warm qi pill has the same effect on the forged god realm above the quenched body realm. And the effect will not decrease. The effect is 10 times greater than that of holy medicine. Quenching the body realm, a divine medicine, directly perfecting. Rush into the forge god realm without worry. Forge the divine realm, directly enhance the triple small realm. Powerful and simply insane. The elixir of 10,000 years is simply a peerless treasure. Not to mention low-level sects, even high-level sects must fight for their heads and blood. It can be seen how heartwarming the 10,000-year warm grass in the hands of Wang Dao is. The eyes of the 5 great sect leaders turned red, filled with endless greed. Their bodies were blue, red, or purple, with 5 flashes of light and internal energy surging. They could hardly resist killing and looting treasures. Wang Dao noticed the expressions of the 5 people and sneered, "Do you want to take action? Give it a try. Accomplishing you." The 5 masters shouted fiercely, almost simultaneously charging straight towards the 5 gates of the royal path. The person from Liao Yaquan is the closest to the King Dao, and their speed is even faster. In the blink of an eye, they have already arrived behind the King Dao and struck his back with a palm. Buzz, at the moment when Liao Yaquan came into contact with Wang Dao, a slight buzzing suddenly sounded from his body. Liao Yaquan surprisingly walked past Wang Dao with a surprised expression on his face. At this moment, Wang Dao's body also turned into a phantom. Liao Yaquan instinctively turned his head, his eyes wide open, but before she could say anything, he suddenly stood with sweat all over his body. He quickly turned his head and saw that the other 4 major sect leaders had already attacked. She attacked behind the king, but the other 4 attacked in front of the king. At this moment, she passed through the royal path and happened to block in front of the virtual shadow of the royal path. Hurry up! The middle-aged woman's soul surged, but the attack from the 4 of them was already in sight. There was no time to stop, so she quickly mobilized her internal energy to protect her whole body. Boom! The roaring sound echoed in front of the king, raising rolling dust and smoke. The high platform shook violently, obviously unable to hold on anymore. Pop! With a crisp sound, the high platform couldn't bear it and collapsed with a loud bang. Stones splattered everywhere, causing everyone below to flee in fear. The scene was extremely chaotic for a moment. Wang Dao stood still with a wicked smile on his face, allowing stones to pass through his body. Cough cough. A fierce cough came from the smoke and dust, and the smoke slowly dissipated. Liao Yaquan was half kneeling on the ground, his face pale. At her feet, a small pool of blood was bright red and glaring, and his mouth was bleeding incessantly. His chin had already been dyed red, and the blood was continuously flowing down. In front of Liao Yaquan, the faces of the 4 major sect leaders were also very ugly, each with a bright red face. It was obvious that they had just forcefully taken credit and suffered a backlash. Now their blood and qi were surging, and it was already a good thing that they did not vomit blood. Pop 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 pop. A crisp round of applause rang out, and the 5 great sect leaders angrily turned around to see the cheerful smile on Wang Dao's face. The 5 of them wished to turn him to ashes. Wang Dao didn't care at all, clapped his hands and smiled, saying, "I didn't expect there to be any unexpected gains. I was just trying to protect myself, but I didn't expect it to hurt you. It seems like it's really harmful to both of you and yourself, and retribution is not satisfying. Who said you really want this divine medicine?" The 5 great sect leaders were so angry that they gritted their teeth, but couldn't say anything because Wang Dao was right. If it weren't for their excessive desire to obtain the 1,000-year warm qi grass and their loss of reason, which made them exert all their strength, they wouldn't have been in a hurry and unable to fully recover. Not only did they suffer backlash, but even Liao Yaquan suffered a considerable internal injury. Indeed, they lifted a stone and smashed their own feet. "You! How could you have a double crystal?" Liao Yaquan took a deep breath and asked in a resentful tone. "The double crystal is precisely the reason why the body of the royal realm transforms into a phantom. It is one of the precious weapons of the 10 continents. After use, it can create a clone controlled by one's own internal energy. Sitting at home, the clone can travel thousands of miles, and one can feel everything they see and hear. Their words and actions are also controlled by oneself. Even when using weapons at home, the clone can be cast with a phantom, which can be said to be almost indistinguishable from oneself. Unless under attack, no one can see any clues. It can be said to be the best weapon for exploring dangerous situations. There are only 2 drawbacks. One is that the clone cannot attack, and the other is that the substitute crystal is a disposable weapon. One is missing." "I can't believe it, right? I actually have this rare weapon in my hand, even though it's rare in advanced sections." Wang Dao sneered coldly and said, "If it weren't for the substitute crystal, do you think I would really seek death and take out the divine medicine? Humph. Do you think we're injured, so there's nothing we can do about you? If it's other sects, it's okay. You're a destitute sect leader, I can kill your sect at any time." Liao Yaquan said fiercely, "Do you think I'm foolish? If I dare to take it out, I have a reliance on it. I have contacted the God-seeking sect, and they will arrive tonight. I have already negotiated a deal with the God-seeking sect, giving them half of the divine medicine, and they will set up a high-level killing array for me. If you want to die, come and do it." Wang Dao sneered. "You. The 5 great masters are going crazy." They never expected Wang Dao to have such courage. After owning the divine medicine, they would even give half of their sect members. If it were them, not only the divine medicine, but also the holy medicine, they would definitely protect them like treasures. Anyway, they know it fell this time. Let Wang Dao play around for a while, but there is no way. The high-level killing array, not to mention these low-level sects, even the high-level sects, requires the strength of the entire sect to break through. If they go there, they will be seeking death. Although it is possible to attack the Xuandong sect now, let alone the fact that Xuandong sect has already started trading with Xuandong sect. Once Xuandong sect is breached, it is equivalent to offending Xuandong sect. Those who wait for them are either exterminated or bleeding heavily. It's really going to the extreme. Within half a day, there won't be enough time to mobilize manpower. If only the 5 of them were injured, even if they weren't injured, the low-level killing array in the sect of Xuandao would be enough to withstand them for half a day. At this moment, their eyes towards Wang Dao changed, and they no longer dared to see him as a little brat who had just taken over the sect and was about to be deposed. Having courage, a mind, a thorough approach to work, being ruthless and decisive, this is a hero. Oh, there's nothing else to say. Then I won't talk to you anymore. Wang Dao took a few steps forward and looked at the villagers who were hiding in the distance and secretly looking over here. He said loudly, "All the qualified martial artists today are willing to join my Daoist sect. I will give them the divine medicine warm qi pill at my discretion. I'll go. Master Wang. Choose me, choose me. I am a third-class mortal body. I am a genius. Damn it. What kind of genius is a third-class mortal body? Master Wang, I am a second-class mortal body. Give me the divine medicine and I won't waste it. Countless apprentices rushed out, and the once quiet village entrance became noisy again. The 5 great masters were surprised. This is the rhythm of taking over all the martial artists. So what do they do? There are no new martial artists joining, but it will affect the sect's luck. Looking at the sinister smile on the corner of Wang Dao's mouth, the 5 major sect leaders suddenly understood. This kid is going to cut corners. I'm planning to kill them. Chapter 3. In the face of great changes, there must be time travel. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Don't listen to him talk nonsense. Liao Yaquan immediately stood up with strong support and exclaimed excitedly, you just heard that he has reached a deal with the Seeking God sect, leaving only half of the divine medicine. Even as an alchemist at the Dan sect level, half of the warm chi grass can at most refine 10 warm chi pills. How could it be distributed to everyone? That's right. He's drawing pancakes for everyone. You can't believe him. That's right. Think carefully, the Taoist sect has declined. Even with the divine medicine now, it's just a dying struggle. Joining the Taoist sect is self-indulgence. Don't ruin your future just for a small profit. The 5 great masters stepped forward to dissuade, and it must be said that what they said was very reasonable. For a while, it made the excited warriors gradually calm down and began to hesitate and whisper. The 5 great masters breathed a sigh of relief, but just then, Wang Dao spoke up again. The 5 masters' words also make sense, it seems that I can only speak the truth. In one sentence, Wang Dao caught the attention of everyone, including the 5 major sect leaders. He coldly glanced at the young girls and said, I have no interest in you guys who follow the trend and have bad intentions. There are 30 qualified martial artists today. You 30 people, give me the Tao-seeking sect, and I don't want it either. The warriors changed their faces. Isn't this a prank on us? Suddenly, he looked at Wang Dao with a displeased expression. The 5 great sect leaders were surprised in their hearts. What is this Wang Dao doing? Do you ruin your future? However, Wang Dao chuckled mischievously and said, I am planning to pack you 30 people and use a quarter of the divine medicine, Wenqi grass, as the main body to trade with the Seeking God sect in exchange for my desired disciple. Although I have lost money, for you, I have made a profit and entered the higher level sect. I don't think you will refuse, will you? The 5 great sect leaders are dumbfounded. 30 martial arts disciples were overjoyed, and there was not even a hint of displeasure towards the royal way. They wished they could kiss the royal way twice. High-level sect. That is a holy land that these children with mortal talents cannot join in their lifetime. Even for a janitor, the benefits are much better than the true teachings of a lower-level sect. Even if they are traded in the future, they still have the heritage of a higher-level sect. Even if they are traded back to a lower-level sect, they will leap to become core disciples. This is a great opportunity to soar to the sky. Not even worse than the effect of divine medicine. Don't refuse. How could you refuse? Master Wang is such a good person. Master Wang. I have made a decision. I must join the Shudao sect. Joining the Taoist sect is my lifelong dream. Listening to the warriors competing to please each other, the faces of the 5 great sect leaders became increasingly bitter. They knew that the royal way had succeeded. They no longer have the ability to stop it. However, Wang Dao's face was not very attractive either, especially as he looked at these 12-year-old children with pleasing faces and eager to kneel and lick. Wang Dao felt nauseous in waves. Looking at the parents of these children, they were all very satisfied with their behavior, and Wang Dao couldn't help but want to spank them. What kind of world is this special? The 3 values are too crooked, they are all children. Is that all education? Wang Dao sighed inwardly and said lightly, since you agree, you should hurry up the mountain. As he spoke, Wang Dao glanced at the 5 major sect leaders again and said coldly, I, the Daoist sect, have risen again today. I will settle my father's account with you sooner or later. After speaking, Wang Dao's body turned into a wisp of smoke and disappeared into invisibility. Damn it! You really underestimate this little brat. I didn't expect this kid to really find a chance to turn things around. How could the Daoist sect possibly have a double crystal and an elixir of immortality? What kind of luck is this? I think we should prepare well. Didn't you hear that kid say? He's going to settle accounts with us. The 4 great sect leaders were both jealous and angry, cursing, but couldn't help but feel waves of fear. The performance of the Wang Dao today made them feel powerless. If the Wang Dao really wants to settle accounts, they are really worried that they will not be able to defeat him. Liao Yaquan looked disdainfully at the 4 of them and snorted coldly, what are we afraid of? Our 5 great masters, are we still afraid of a destitute Daoist sect? Besides, his father was not killed by us. The 4 great masters suddenly realized. Yeah. His father's death has nothing to do with us. If there is injustice and debt in ownership, then it's no big deal to sell that person. Isn't that enough? Seeing the 4 of them settle down, Liao Yaquan looked down on them even more. He said calmly, during this time, investigate carefully and see what's going on with this king's way. I remember he was a foolish waste and could never have done such a beautiful thing today. There must be someone behind him who gave him guidance. If possible, take him down. The 4 of them nodded heavily, feeling that there was indeed a possibility of what Liao Yaquan had said. They immediately stated that they would investigate further when they returned. If Wang Dao were here, he would be happy to tell Liao Yaquan a famous quote from the 21st century. Every time there is a great change, there must be a time travel. So, in this lifetime, Liao Yaquan couldn't find the person behind the royal path. At the same time, in the main hall of the Xuando sect on Xuando Mountain, Wang Dao looked at the shattered substitute crystal in his hand and sighed lightly, saying, cheap dad, the precious treasure you left behind. I believe you won't mind using it this way. Don't worry, I will replace your son and revive the Xuando sect. Young master, what are you talking about? A light and ethereal voice came from behind the king's path. Wang Dao turned around with a gentle smile and said, it's nothing, Liener. You're not my maid now, just call me senior brother Zhangzong. Mu Liener, the close mate of the royal family, was also the first person the royal family saw after crossing over. She was incredibly beautiful, like a fairy from the 9 heavens, with clear and lively eyes that made her feel relaxed and happy. Wearing the most common white clothes of the Daoist sect, she exudes a holy aura, and occasional gentle smiles can make Wang Dao, this 2-generation chick, forget to breathe. The tenderness, loyalty, thoughtfulness, and obedience in my memory make Wang Dao feel immensely sorry for her. Wang Dao even doubted the essential plot of time travel, thinking that Mu Liener was so beautiful that she was insane. She might be the illegitimate daughter of a certain major sect or something. Fortunately, the memory of Mu Liener dispelled his suspicion. Mu Liener was born after marriage as a cook and wet nurse of the Daoist sect, and she has been with him since childhood. Her background is definitely not a problem. Moreover, Mu Liener, the lowest level talent of the 9th grade mortal body, could never have been the illegitimate daughter of the main sect leader. Is this just a temporary solution? Now that I have an apprentice, can Liener restore her identity? Liener still wants to be the young master's servant. Mu Liener smiled eagerly. Wang Dao reached out and patted her small head, then smiled softly and said, I'll let you suffer for a few more days. These 30 martial arts disciples, I have no intention of making them accept the aura imprint of the Dao-seeking sect. I'm afraid we'll dirty our aura fairy crystals. Mu Liener frowned hesitantly and asked cautiously, young master, really don't you want any? Lianer couldn't see it just now, she could only hear the young master's voice. If it's just to follow the trend, it's nothing, right? After all, our sect. I understand. Wang Dao nodded and said, it is understandable that Xuandong's sect has declined and they did not choose Xuandong's sect. But for many years, Xuandong's sect has adhered to the belief of martial arts, and when monsters move and secret realms are causing chaos, which time did Xuandong's sect not rush forward and protect the safety of the side? Especially in Qinghe village, as the only source of martial arts disciples in our 6 sects, 5 years ago when monsters attacked, our Xuandao sect charged ahead, while the other 5 sects played with their hearts and sent only miscellaneous workers. Only our Xuandao sect disciples shed blood and sacrificed themselves. It can be said that all the lives in Qinghe village were saved by our Xuandao sect. I don't ask them to be grateful, but at least we shouldn't belittle us when we're down and want to join the other 5 sects, right? Even though we're all children, their parents' education has twisted their hearts. I would never want such a person. Upon hearing Wang Dao's words, Mu Lianer nodded in agreement and said, what the young master said makes sense. I never thought about it before, so let's all listen to the young master. Oh, by the way, young master, was the warming herb in your hand really a divine medicine just now? How come I didn't know there were such treasures in our sect? Chapter 4. 100,000-year buff. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wang Dao chuckled and said, if I say it was awarded by the martial god, do you believe it? And it will be rewarded more and more in the future. Cut. Mu Lianer pursed her lips and said, you're still a martial god. Do you think Lianer is a child? If you don't want to say it, forget it. I'll go cook and not cook for the young master. Humph. After speaking, he snorted and walked out of the Seeking Path hall. Wang Dao shook his head with a smirk. Lianer, it's not that the young master doesn't want to tell you. Leaving aside the matter of time travel, can you understand it? You can't understand just the 3 words, golden finger. Open the properties page. Wang Dao's thoughts flickered, and a pale blue virtual screen flashed out in front of him. Name. Wang Dao. Age. 17. Identity. Leader of the Xuandao sect, leader of the sect's Qi and Fortune realm. Quenching body realm double talent. Martial god wisdom I, basic, sect talent. 100,000-year buff, divine level, sect level. Lower level sect disciple. Mu Lianer sect building. Unable to display sect divine power. Unable to display sect formation. Unable to display Wang Dao side inwardly. Every time he looked at the attribute page, he felt overwhelmed, especially the string of unable to display messages. The unable to display on the page is not because he hasn't opened these things yet, but because his system is broken. That's right, it's all time traveling, but his system crashed when it crossed over. So his system is almost useless, basically all functions disappear. Fortunately, his system still has a conscience. Unlike those seductive and despicable people, on the eve of collapse, the system utilized all its energy, opened 2 destiny roulettes, and drew 2 talents for the king. A common talent of oneself, the martial god wisdom I, is actually a data eye that can see detailed data of each warrior and objects related to martial arts, and there is nothing unusual about it. But the sect's talent is invincible. Wang Dao suspected that the system was putting all the energy into allowing him to draw this talent. 100,000-year buff. Although the skills are very satisfactory, Wang Dao is very resentful of the title of this buff and thinks that the system may have some misunderstanding of the word buff. Most buffs are passive, but this one is active. Moreover, only 100,000-year buff can be used cumulatively once a month. Fortunately, this state is powerful enough. When he opens it, everything he touches with his right hand that is not human can achieve a 100,000-year amplification effect, and the direction of evolution can also be chosen. For example, a martial arts book can exist for 100,000 years, but it can also be deduced and refined for 100,000 years. And it doesn't require any cost. This is quite incredible. And the so-called cumulative use is that it can be split up for 100,000 years. For example, warm qi grass, which was used by the king for 10,000 years, allowed ordinary warm qi grass picked at the door to exist for thousands of years, and instantly evolved into divine medicine. After understanding this talent and experimenting twice, Wang Dao was instantly satisfied. With this talent, coupled with the assistance of the martial god's wise eye, even without a system, he can quickly restore the glory of the already destitute sect, the Seeking Dao sect. Wang Dao took out a yellowed secret book from his arms and gave a bitter smile, saying, "I hope this time I can get a genius to learn this skill, otherwise I will waste 10,000 years." This is the first product of the Wang Dao experiment, a mortal-level secret script called Iron Jade Body in the Xuanwu building of the Sundo sect. It is a body-refining technique and also used by his cheap father to allow his predecessor to exercise without any time. After all, my predecessor was weak from a young age and had a bit of intellectual disability, so I couldn't change my mind. Of course, I hope my child can have a good body. Always placed by Wang Dao's bed, Wang Dao used it for experimentation and chose to refine it through 10,000 years of deduction. The result has become what it is now. Not only has the ink blue book cover turned yellow, but even the name has been changed. The Three Emperors Separation Technique. Imperial Level Body Refining Technique. This is undoubtedly presented in Wang Daowu's divine and wise eyes. On the 10 continents, the level of martial arts is divided into mortal level, good level, excellent level, birth level, heavenly level, imperial level, holy level, divine level, and no superior level. Surprisingly, it has increased by 5 levels. Moreover, the imperial level martial arts are not ordinary cabbage on the streets. The heavenly level martial arts are already the mainstream martial arts of the higher level sect. The imperial level martial arts can only be practiced by the head of the higher level sect, let alone precious body refining techniques. They are treasures of the holy domain sect. If this thing were to appear in the world, it would not be comparable to the divine medicine Wen Qi grass. It is estimated that the leaders of those 5 sects, even if they compete with higher level sects, would rush to the Seeking Dao sect and kill the King Dao. After all, this is a peerless treasure that can establish a relationship with the holy domain sect. However, Wang Dao did not have this mindset. Now that he relies on the high level sect of the God-seeking sect, it is just an exaggeration. With his current ability to wholesale imperial level martial arts, as long as there are good seedlings, he will become a top sect in a very short time without relying on anyone else. As for practicing on your own, Wang Dao said, I can't understand. Although he is soul-piercing, his predecessor was a somewhat mentally disabled person. He still doesn't know how to practice martial arts when he is over 10 years old, and even just learned to read. As a modern person, Wang Dao should not even think about practicing martial arts. Fortunately, Wang Dao looked at the identity column on the attribute page and stared closely at the words sect Qi and master on it. Every time he saw it, he felt a sense of fragmented values. That's why Wang Dao doesn't care about his own strength, but instead cares about the strength of his disciples. It's because he, as a Qi luck master, doesn't need to practice at all. The stronger the disciple, the stronger he is. There is a race in the 10 continents that completely confuses the royal family. Qi Yun race. Unlike ordinary people, the improvement of the strength of the Qi Yun race does not require hard cultivation, only the improvement of their Qi Yun can enhance their strength. Generally speaking, there are 3 types of Qi transportation: country, city, and sect. The king of a country, or the lord of a city, or the patriarch of a sect, are basically of the Qi Yun race, and the Qi Yun race is generally inherited by the legitimate son. As long as the country and cities prosper, the strength of the king and the city lord will also become stronger. Therefore, In this 10-sided continent where martial arts are highly valued, both the country and the city environment are quite good. After all, these rulers need to enhance their strength. Unlike kings and city lords, there are various factors that they want to enhance their luck, including economy, people's livelihoods, stability, geography, and so on. But the sect is very simple, that is the disciple. As long as there are more disciples, the sect's luck will be stronger, and the leader's strength will also be higher. That's also why, the reason for the downfall of the Daoist sect is that even the disciples are gone, and their luck has passed, almost reaching the point of abolishing the sect. After obtaining this knowledge from his memory, Wang Dao said that his mind was very confused, especially his predecessor's brain, which only had a partial understanding, making him even more confused. Liener is another little maid who doesn't know much, and Wang Dao can only do it based on his feelings. Today's move was also done by Wang Dao based on intuition. He doesn't have much confidence in whether it can cause harm to those 5 people. Wang Dao put away the secret script, closed the attribute page, and murmured, "Alas, I can only see the people from the God-seeking sect who came at night. I hope they can help me clarify what kind of world this is." Chapter 5. Rules of 10 Continents. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. As night fell, the Xuandao Hall on Xuandao Mountain welcomed a group of distinguished guests. A precious blue flying boat hovered above the hall, while Wang Dao and Mu Liener stood at the door with serious nervousness, looking up. 13 figures slowly descended from the flying boat, like a flying boat. The newcomer was dressed in a navy blue robe, emitting a different radiance of internal energy, like feathers, and lightly landed in front of the king. Seeing the appearance of the newcomer clearly, Wang Dao couldn't help but be a bit surprised that all 13 of them were women. The leader is actually a short-haired, poker-faced, robot-like female man. The council hall of the God-seeking sect, the 12th elder, Shangguanqing pays his respects to the lord of the Prince Dao of the sect. The female man arched her fist like a robot, her voice devoid of emotion, and said, Wang Dao felt a bit confused. The 10 continents revered martial arts, and the 13 women in front of him couldn't even see their realms without the help of the martial god's discerning eyes. It was evident that they were at least 3 realms higher than him. This elder, named Shangguanqing, who could serve as a high-level sect elder, could not be inferior in strength. It is estimated that even a small finger could defeat him 300 times. How could such a person be so polite to themselves? Senior Shangguan, you're welcome, please. Wang Dao suppressed his doubts and politely smiled before reaching out to ask. Shangguanqing remained unmoved and said calmly, Master Wang, we are here to handle this transaction. Please clarify whether the transaction is confirmed or not. If it is confirmed, we will immediately start setting up a high-level killing formation to avoid delaying time. Is trading in this world so direct? Wang Dao smiled bitterly, but without hesitation, he immediately nodded and said, Of course, half of the warm air grass is ready, right inside the hall. Upon hearing this, Shangguanqing turned to the 12 people behind him and said calmly, Set up the formation. Yes. The 12 of them responded in unison, and after speaking, they turned into 12 blue lights and flew towards all directions of the Seeking Mountain. The efficiency of the higher-level sect's work is truly admirable, Wang Dao said in surprise. Shangguanqing still did not respond and continued to ask, Please clarify, Master Wang. As you mentioned in your message, the possible transaction of a quarter of the warm qi grass paired with dozens of martial arts disciples in exchange for our sect's internal and external disciples will be carried out. Wang Dao was already accustomed to the official style of handling affairs, and without any affectation, nodded and said, Go ahead, 30 martial arts disciples are already waiting in the west wing. You can take them away at any time. As he spoke, a white crystal flew out of the storage weapon ring on Wang Dao's finger and said, The information of these 30 martial disciples is all recorded in the martial crystal, and a quarter of the warm air grass has also been installed. But I need to first see if there are any disciples I need in the God-seeking sect. Reasonable. As he spoke, a crystal flew out of the martial ring in Shang Guanqing's hand, saying, "There are a total of 58,368 disciples from both the inner and outer gates of the Xuanchen sect. All the information is within the martial ring, and Lord Wang can watch it freely." After speaking, he threw Wu Jing directly into the hands of Wang Dao. "Thank you very much." Wang Dao also threw the Wu Jing in his hand to Shang Guanqing. Shang Guan didn't even look at it and directly placed the storage weapon ring. He said, "If the transaction is completed, we will arrange an internal gas teleportation array within the seeking sect. In the future, it will be convenient for the two sects to trade. Please find a suitable location first, Lord Wang." Wang Dao nodded and smiled, "Sure, Elder Shangguan. I still have some things I want to ask. Can you please have a detailed discussion in the main hall?" "Sure, Lord Wang, please." Shang Guanqing reached out and said, "Please," said Wang Dao and Mu Liener as they walked into the main hall, followed closely by Shang Guanqing. After each person took their seats, Wang Dao instructed Mu Liener to brew tea. Wang Dao placed the record Wu Jing in his hand on the table and looked at Shang Guanqing, who sat like a soldier. He was secretly amused, but he didn't expect that there was such a strict person in the God-seeking sect. Such a person was easy to communicate with. "Elder Shangguan, first of all, I would like to ask, is your attitude towards me somewhat unreasonable?" Wang Dao asked curiously. "Reasonable, martial arts are the top priority in the 10 continents, but people with good luck are fundamentally different from ordinary people, especially those in charge of the sect. The improvement of strength is very simple. For ordinary people, you will always be a superior existence." Shangguan replied expressionlessly, "Is there still such a rule?" Wang Dao really doesn't remember this. Shang Guanqing glanced at Wang Dao and asked, "Does Lord Wang want to ask common-sense questions?" No intention of offending. Lord Wang used to have incomplete intelligence, but now he has developed his spiritual intelligence due to treatment by a certain expert. However, due to the passing of the old lord, he does not fully understand the affairs of the 10 continents, does he? Wang Dao curled his lips and asked, "Is that how the God-seeking sect guessed?" "This is not my guess, but most people think so," Shangguan replied honestly. "How does the God-seeking sect plan to treat the Dao-seeking sect?" Wang Dao squinted his eyes and asked, as usual, without any special response, "The matter of abolishing the sect can be temporarily postponed." Shang Guanqing replied, "Why? Didn't you plan on exploring my secret?" Wang Dao asked tentatively. Shangguan shook his head and said, "The disadvantages outweigh the benefits, there's no need." How to say it? Common sense question. Shang Guanqing said, "Since we appeared, Lord Wang has been very vigilant towards us. I understand Lord Wang's concerns, which is also why the sect sent us 13 female disciples to conduct transactions. Women are more likely to make people feel relaxed than men. Please rest assured, Lord Wang, we will not engage in self-destructive activities." Wang Dao was taken aback for a moment, but unexpectedly, Shang Guanqing could see everything. That's right, Wang Dao has always been very nervous and his mood is not beautiful. He really hates the feeling of being nervous and giving life and death to others. But he must bet this once. Only by uniting with the God-seeking sect can he quickly make the Dao-seeking sect rise. This is the most suitable method that came to mind during these brief 3 days after crossing the royal road. If a sect wants to rise, it must rely on disciples, but can Qinghe village produce any disciples with extraordinary talents? It's simply impossible. How can there be so many leaks to pick up? As for gradually rising the Xuandao sect step by step, that's even more nonsense. How can a king with golden fingers tolerate the slow development of their own sect? When the sect really develops, he's already in his 70s and 80s, so why bother playing around? So he must rely on his intuition and memory to bet that the God-seeking sect will not attack him, will not explore his secrets, and will not kill or seize treasures. But this was just an intuition from his predecessor, and there was no reason for it. Wang Dao had no confidence at all, so he was very nervous. But now it looks like he won the bet. The God-seeking sect really doesn't know how to take action against themselves. Wang Dao breathed a sigh of relief, relaxed slightly, and smiled, asking, "Is this the rule of the 10 continents?" "It can be said that it is a rule." Shangguan nodded and said, "Xuandao sect is a subordinate sect of Xuanshan sect. Before Xuandao sect reached a higher level sect, the qi of the two sects was connected. In terms of qi, we are a family. If the Xuanshan sect does anything that damages the Xuanshan sect, it will greatly damage the Xuanshan sect's qi luck. Even if the Xuanshan sect's qi luck has almost disappeared, self-destructive qi luck and qi luck disappearing on its own are two different things. So on the 10 continents, there will never be any cannibalism among the same sect. As long as the Xuandao sect does not break away from the Xuanshan sect's luck for a day, we will be your solid support." Wang Dao suddenly said, "So there are still such rules, but even if one's luck is damaged, it only damages the strength of the sect. If the benefits are significant enough, it's not impossible to do it, right? No matter how great the benefits are, is it greater than the disaster of annihilating the sect? Although our human enemies are monsters and demons, humans are not one piece, and this is something that Lord Wang knows better than me. Within the sect leader is always the strongest and the pillar of the sect's strength. Once the sect leader's actual strength is greatly damaged, other higher level sects will take advantage of the situation and enter. As a result, I don't have to say anything about it, right? I understand." Wang Dao nodded with peace of mind and said with a smile. Shangguan Qing flipped his wrist and found a book in his hand. He placed it on the table and said, "This is a comprehensive collection of knowledge from the 10 continents prepared by our council member, the main hall, for you. It is also sold in some cities. Lord Wang can refer to it for comparison. Some of these are the main hall's views on certain knowledge, which may be useful to Lord Wang." "Oh. Thank you very much to the palace master for considering everything so thoroughly." Wang Dao smiled with a meaningful tone in his words. "It's nothing, the temple master just thinks that after awakening, the Wang Zhongzhu has the courage to trade with the Seeking God sect with divine medicine, and the absolute confidence to win over all the martial artists in Qinghe village. He must be a person in the future. Making friends now is more beneficial than making friends in the future," Shangguan Qing said without concealing anything. These girls are really speaking frankly. You're making me wonder how to pick it up, okay?" Shangguan Qing seemed to see Wang Dao's thoughts and stood up, saying, "Please ask Master Wang to check the information of the required disciples. I'll go outside to help." After speaking, it turned into a stream of light and flew out of the main hall of Seeking Enlightenment. "Hey!" At this moment, Mu Lianer walked out with a tray and asked in surprise, "Young master, has Elder Shangguan left?" Wang Dao let out a long breath and collapsed into a chair, with no trace of the style of a sect leader. He smiled bitterly and said, "Let's go." "Alas, Lianer, I'm really not used to carrying the sect leader's airs. I'm so tired." Muyang smiled softly and walked over to put down the tray. She rubbed her shoulders for Wang Dao and advised, "All right, young master, you are the sect leader now and you need to get used to it slowly. Now let's see if we can exchange for any potential disciples." Wang Dao nodded heavily, picked up the record Wu Jing on the table, and a strange purple light flickered in his eyes. "Whether or not he can rise up depends on this time," he said. Chapter 6. This Wave of Blood Earns. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Disciple trading is a unique feature of the 10 continents, where sects can exchange their favorite disciples and use them to trade necessary supplies, resources, and even certain opportunities. It can even be said that disciples are high-level currencies of the 10 continents. This statement may not have a human touch, but it is a rule of the 10 continents and a well-known common sense, and no one thinks it is inappropriate. It is precisely because of such rules that Wang Dao was able to come up with today's plan. If you want to obtain disciples with good qualifications and don't have your own territory, why not trade with others? Even if it's just a disciple from an external sect, I believe the talent of a high-level sect is much better than that of those martial arts disciples in Qinghe village. Wang Dao held the record of Wu Jing in his hand and inputted his internal energy. He saw a flash of Wu Jing's light, and he only felt a buzzing sound in his mind. Countless images rushed into his mind, almost squeezing it out. Damn it! Wang Dao covered his head in pain, feeling as if his head was about to crack open. Young master! Mu Lianer exclaimed nervously, Young master, are you okay? Why did you open all the records at once? With your strength, you can't bear it. The records of Wujing can be used in stages, just input a little bit of internal qi, you input too much. Wang Dao gave a bitter smile and waved his hand, saying, Do you still have this function? I didn't know this thing could be opened multiple times, it's too high. Tech. What kind of black technology? Young master, are you okay? Mu Lianer was even more worried. Why did the young master start talking nonsense? It's okay, let me just say it. Wang Dao shook his head, feeling that his head was much better. He looked at the record Wu Jing in his hand with a resentful expression. He used this thing for the second time, the first time on Mu Lianer, mainly to try and see if his martial god wisdom I can work after using the record Wu Jing. It has to be said that this thing is really dark technology, and I don't know what its principle is. It can actually record the image of the person being recorded inside, and it is also accompanied by strength level and talent level. When using it for observation, these images are like memories, imprinted in the brain, and disappear after about a day. The most magical thing is that his martial god's wise eyes can actually produce effects on these memory-like images, and can clearly see all the information of the recorded person. However, when he first experimented, there was only Mu Lianer, and he only knew how to use it. How could he know that it could still be used in stages? Suddenly, more than 50,000 people's memory images popped up in his mind, and it was considered good if he didn't explode his brain. Ha! Wang Dao took a long breath, picked up the tea and poured it in one breath, feeling a little more comfortable. How's it going, young master? Mu Lianer asked anxiously. It's okay, Lianer. It's already okay. Wang Dao gave Mu Lianer a headshot and stood up with a smile. He walked to the position where Shengguan had just sat, picked up the complete knowledge book from the table, and said, It seems we need to take a look at these knowledge before doing anything in the future. You scared me to death, young master. Mu Lianer complained, What's up, young master? You've suffered so much, should you have gained something? Wang Dao excitedly gave a thumbs up, his eyes flickering with a strange purple light, and smiled, That's necessary. It's a huge gain. I didn't expect to find a big leak in the search for the god sect. Great. Mu Lianer exclaimed happily. Lianer, go find Sheng Wanking now and tell her to set up a teleportation array in the back mountain, and then let her come back. We can trade as soon as possible, Wang Dao immediately ordered. Okay. I'll go right away. After speaking, Mu Lianer ran out of the door with enthusiasm. Wang Dao, on the other hand, took a complete collection of common sense and sat on a chair, carefully reading it. In no time, a stream of light entered and Shengguan Qing appeared in front of Wang Dao, still with his poker face. He asked, Master Wang, have you confirmed the transaction? Wang Dao put down his book and said with a smile, That's right, I need 3 people. Zhang Dainiu, a worker from the Outer Gate Faction Hall. Sun Yudi, a disciple of the Outer Gate Martial Arts Practice Hall. Wu Xiaoqi, a young boy from the Outer Gate Dan Hall. Shengguan Qing was taken aback for a moment, and his poker face finally showed a slight change. He frowned slightly and asked, Master Wang, forgive me for speaking bluntly. Your choice is very poor. Although my disciples from the outer sect have less talent than those from the inner sect, there are many spiritual and physical talents. But the three people you mentioned, apart from Sun Yudi, who is a 9th-class spiritual talent, Zhang Dainyu is only a 3rd-class mortal talent, and Wu Xiaoqi is only a 2nd-class mortal talent, which is not much different from the martial arts disciples in Qinghe village. I don't understand the benefits of your transaction. Wang Dao smiled mysteriously and said, I won't bother Elder Shangguan anymore. This transaction requires additional compensation because I have suffered a serious loss. Does Elder Shangguan think it's okay? After a moment of consideration, Shangguanqing nodded and said, sure, as long as it falls within my scope of responsibility, I can agree immediately. It's very simple. I'll also hand over the remaining warm qi grass to the Seeking God sect. Please help me refine the warm qi pill. In addition, I need an ordinary Dan furnace, a handful of ordinary Dan fire, a mortal-level fire-type martial arts method, 1 martial arts book each, 3 sets of mortal-level full-body weapons, including weapons, armor, shoes, and a mortal-level Wudao stone. Is that okay? Wang Dao said, Master Wang can choose a better one, Shangguan said calmly. I can make the decision. No need, that's enough. Wang Dao smiled confidently and said, no matter how well you choose, can you have a better buff after my 100,000-year evolution? Shangguan Qing nodded without any affectation and said, okay, I can agree now. Once the teleportation array is set up, I can send it immediately. The disciples need to wait for a day. We need to weaken the Qi imprint so that the Qi imprint of the Daoist sect can be replaced. I understand, that's settled then. After speaking, Wang Dao flipped his wrist and 2 wooden brocade boxes appeared in his hand, along with the brocade boxes already placed on the table. There were 3 boxes in total, and he said, I divided the warm qi grass into 3 parts. Please check it, Elder Shangguan. No need, Shangguan Qing stepped forward and reached out to put 3 brocade boxes into the storage martial ring. He said calmly, forgive me for being blunt. Master Wang, you have lost money in this transaction. After speaking, it turned into a stream of light again and disappeared into the main hall. Wang Dao chuckled and compensated. With the presence of the martial god's wise eye, I won't be able to make up for it in my lifetime. You are the ones who make the big losses. I have 3 pieces of gold in my hand, but I don't know. Wang Dao closed his eyes and looked at the memory footage recorded by Wu Jing. The information presented by Wu Shen's wise eyes made Wang Dao's nose almost burst out. Name: Zhang Dainyu. Age: 19. Talent: 3rd class mortal body realm. 4 levels of quenching body realm. Note: born with a physical training constitution, possessing a 2nd class physical training talent without an upper body. Due to the inability to detect physical training talent, the talent is presented as a normal cultivation internal qi talent. After becoming a disciple, the suggestion option will be activated. Name: Sun Yudi. Age: 21. Talent: 9th class good body, seal, realm. 8 levels of quenching body realm. Note: born with a fiery phoenix constitution and a spiritual constitution, in order not to harm the body, in a state of self-sealing, practicing fire-based martial arts and techniques will gradually activate the true talent. The true talent is the 1st grade divine body. After becoming a disciple, the suggestion option will be activated. Name: Wu Xiaoqi. Age: 16. Talent: 3rd class mortal body realm. Triple quenching state. Note: in alchemy, one has exceptional talent and strong learning and innovation abilities. They can quickly master all knowledge of alchemy, and their alchemy talent is equivalent to the 5th grade of divine body. After becoming a disciple, the suggestion option will be activated. 1 supreme body, 2 divine bodies, this wave of blood earns. Chapter 7. Yun Ren Zhong is indeed a bug. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The next evening, Wang Dao was in the garden outside his bedroom, enjoying the gentle breeze that was about to fall into the night while reading the complete knowledge book given to him by the God-seeking sect. However, he was not careful in his reading and occasionally even looked at the exceptionally beautiful flowers and plants around him. Because he had already finished reading the complete collection of Common Sense, this book was not thick and could be read in 2 or 3 hours. Now, he is just deepening his impression and marveling at his fragmented values. This world is too demonic. At this moment, Mu Liener was seen bouncing over, looking very happy and laughing. Young master, the disciples sent by the God-seeking sect have arrived and are waiting in the main hall. Wang Dao smiled softly and gave Mu Liener a headshot, saying, "Why are you so happy?" "Of course I'm glad. Our Taoist sect can finally rise. Moreover, these 3 disciples have a very good nature. When they meet, they call Liener senior sister, and they all feel embarrassed to call Liener." Mu Liener chuckled, "You're such a good girl. Just 1 sentence from senior sister bought you off. You're already the senior sister of our Taoist sect. Isn't it appropriate to call you that?" Wang Dao joked, "What? The young master has promised me that as long as there are disciples, Liener will continue to be the young master's servant. Don't break your promise. Either. Or Liener won't cook for the young master." Mu Liener threatened fiercely, looking at Mu Liener's cute little appearance. Wang Dao burst out laughing and nodded, Okay. We Liener can do whatever she wants. When we turn around and give them 3 marks of luck, will we erase Liener's aura? At first, making Mu Liener a disciple was just a temporary measure to not abolish the sect. If Mu Liener really had talent, it would be fine. However, her talent was too poor and she did not have the heart to become a martial artist, so the royal family naturally would not force her. The most important thing is that Wang Dao cannot bear to let Mu Liener charge into battle, licking blood with the blade, being honest by his side, and living a safe and happy life is the best. This is Liener's good young master. Mu Liener happily grabbed Wang Dao's arm and smiled coquettishly, Okay, let's go and see the hope of our rise. Wang Dao burst out laughing and left the garden with Mu Liener. Upon arriving at the Xuandao hall, I saw 3 blue-clad disciples standing at the entrance of the hall, with straight waists and full of energy. Upon seeing Wang Dao come out, the 3 of them bowed respectfully and said in unison, "I have seen Lord Zhangzong." Wang Dao nodded secretly, sighing in his heart that the Seeking God sect is truly a high-level sect, and the disciples he has educated have really good character. You should know that you are a soon-to-be deposed sect leader. Being traded to such a place would not be easy for anyone. Not only is your future in danger, but you may also be bullied and ridiculed by others. But there was no such expression on these 3 faces, at least with Wang Dao's faint ability to observe people, it was not noticeable. Of course, Wang Dao had already gained a certain understanding of the conduct of the 3 individuals in the materials within Wu Jing. Otherwise, even if his talent was high, he would not have wanted them. Wang Dao swept through 3 people one by one. Zhang Dainiu, as his name suggests, simple and honest as an ox, honest and down to earth, even a bit clumsy. He was tall and strong, with a dark face and a hot heart. Sun Yudi is agile and graceful, with a chivalrous demeanor and a strong sense of justice. Although she may not have the same appearance as Mu Liener, she is still handsome. Wang Dao even thinks that these sisters have some potential as female men. Wu Xiaoqi, not stunning in appearance, short in stature, rustic in appearance, belongs to the kind that cannot be found among people. But because both parents are doctors and have been exposed to it since childhood, they have a pure and compassionate heart as a doctor, compassionate towards heaven and things, extremely kind, and have the potential to be a safe Virgin Mary. The quality of these 3 people is what the royal family values the most, and he also thinks he is very lucky. The 3 people with the highest talent in the outer gate of the God-seeking sect all have the best quality, just like the disciples prepared for him. Wang Dao raised his hand with satisfaction and smiled, "You don't need to be too polite. From now on, You will be a family. I don't have that much etiquette as a person. You will gradually understand. Yes. The three of them respectfully responded a diplomatic response. Wang Dao doesn't care either, after all, we just met. He didn't talk nonsense either. The jade ring stored on his finger flashed with a hint of white light, and a diamond-shaped crystal that was no more than 2 millimeters high floated in his palm. Looking at this small crystal that was almost invisible, Wang Dao blushed a bit. This is the Qi Yin crystal of the Seeking Dao sect, which is also a treasure connected to his royal realm. The larger the Qi Yin crystal, the stronger his strength. And with his dual quenching state, the crystal is only these 2 millimeters in size. Suppressing the awkward act of scratching his head, Wang Dao suppressed his blush and said calmly, "Let go of the soul's restraint." Yes. The three of them respectfully responded once again, and then saw their inner energy shining. However, in just 1 second, their inner energy drifted away like the wind, and a faint ball of light appeared above their heads, suspended in the air. The spirit of a warrior, the core of a warrior, and also the soul of a warrior. But for this statement, Wang Dao saw it from the complete collection of common sense, but he didn't quite agree, especially when he saw the faint light ball on Sun Yudi's head. He felt that this statement was unreliable. Zhang Dainiu and Wu Xiaoqi are fine, after all, their talents are different from normal talents, but Sun Yudi is only a sealed talent. If this is really a soul, it should be able to reflect abnormalities. However, Wang Dao didn't care either. After all, the spirit of a warrior is a very mysterious existence, and no one has been able to study it thoroughly until now. Besides, if it weren't for this, how could he have found the loophole of Sun Yudi? Wang Dao gently pushed the Qi crystal in his hand and used his internal energy to control it to hover over the heads of the three. A faint white light curtain appeared, enveloping the spirit of the three warriors. Originally, there was an almost invisible aura entwined around the spirits of the three warriors, which was the essence of the Seeking God sect. However, soon the white light curtain melted it, and a white halo covered the spirits of the three warriors. At this moment, the three officially separated from the God-seeking sect and became disciples of the Dao-seeking sect. At this moment, the Qi Yin crystal burst out with a dazzling light, and then a beam of light rushed into the center of the king's eyebrows. Boom! A deafening roar rang out, and the internal energy in the Wang Dao's body appeared like a storm, lifting Mu Liener behind him and all the tables and chairs around him, leaving the entire Shudao hall in chaos. But at this moment, the king had no time to consider anything else, and an unprecedented power was expanding freely within him. Triple quenching environment. 4 levels of quenching environment. Forge the divine realm. Forge the divine realm double. Forging the 3 peaks of the divine realm. For a full 5 minutes, the internal energy like a storm gradually calmed down, like a dragon returning to the sea, once again converging into the body of the king. And the luck crystal, which was like eating an expanding agent, once again returned to the hands of the king. From the previous 2 millimeters, it has become a whopping 1.4 centimeters. This represents the current cultivation level of the royal way. The 4 levels of forging the divine realm. Wang Dao looked at the Qi Yin crystal in his hand with surprise, feeling the surging power inside his body. He couldn't help but take a deep breath and secretly sighed, what a special thing. Qi Yin race, it is indeed a bug. Chapter 8. Crazy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Congratulations to Lord Zhangzong. Zhang Dainiu and the 3 of them congratulated in unison, "Hehe, young master. Congratulations. You've improved so much all of a sudden." Mu Lianer quickly ran over and smiled happily, I didn't expect such a big commotion either." "Lianer, are you okay?" Wang Dao smiled and looked at Mu Lianer with concern. Mu Lianer quickly waved her hand and smiled, "It's okay, it's just a fall." After all, Lianer can be considered a martial artist. Wang Dao smiled and gave Mu Lianer a headshot, then looked at Zhang Dainiu and the 3 of them, smiled slightly, and said, "Thank you very much for entering the country." "I dare not." Sun Yudi was obviously the leader of the three, and the first to speak up. "This is our duty as disciples of the sect." Wang Dao rolled his eyes inwardly, "And you all thought it was his duty. With such positive values, I am not ashamed of this cheating behavior. I have no gaming experience at all, okay? Although it's a bit cheap and obedient, Wang Dao is really a bit uncomfortable in his heart. The improvement of the realm of the Qi Yun race is too childish and disrespectful. Previously, he only had a vague consciousness, and only after reading the complete collection of common sense did he basically understand. However, after this practice, he can be considered to have completely understood the adverse effects of the Qi luck race. The improvement of Qi and race is not simply based on the number of disciples, but also on the quality of disciples. Just like this time, Sun Yudi has the strongest strength among the three, with 8 levels of quenching body realm. According to the common sense mastered by Wang Dao, even if he only recruited Sun Yudi, he could at least ascend to the 9th level of the quenched body realm, and with the addition of his original dual level, he could almost reach the 10th level of the quenched body realm. This practice made him have a further understanding. After the connection of Qi, it is actually the internal Qi of all disciples that transfers essence into the body of the royal family after sublimation and filtration of Qi crystal. So his promotion is not just as simple as N+1, this is the reason why he rose to the 4th level of the Forging God realm. And he believes that the more disciples he has, the higher his level as the head of the sect will be compared to the strongest disciples. At the same time, Wang Dao felt that the internal Qi in his body was extremely pure, and compared to the ordinary Forging God realm 4 levels, he would be stronger than the opponent. That's also why those who search for the God sect would say that the master sect will always be the strongest within the sect. There is no need for cultivation, there are no bottlenecks, and the internal energy is extremely pure. As a sect leader, only 2 things need to be done: recruiting disciples and refining martial arts skills. Even after the sect is on the right track, there is no need to worry about recruiting disciples. No wonder he had heard Cheap Dad mention in his memory that every sect leader is a martial arts expert, and now he can understand why. Similarly, he also understood another thing and couldn't help but look at Zhang Dainiu and Wu Xiaoqi. These 2 great geniuses were completely delayed by these lucky races. The Qi Yun race cares about the realm and the internal energy reserves of its disciples. It can be said that internal energy is everything. Only disciples with higher realms and more internal energy are the most favored disciples of various major sections. Only by absorbing such disciples can the strength of the sect be stronger. Unfortunately, Zhang Dainiu is a master of body refining and Wu Xiaoqi is a master of alchemy. Such people have no use in enhancing the strength of the Palm sect. After all, the talents of body refining and alchemy cannot be absorbed. The reason why he was able to pick up these 2 loopholes is simply because all sects care about improving their realm, and they have not paid attention to other talents at all. Even if there are talents in various sects who specialize in body refining, alchemy, and other aspects, the abilities developed by them can only be considered functional talents at most, provided that their cultivation talents are still reasonable. Natural talent is average, and it can be considered a functional talent. However, if natural talent is against the sky, then it is not a functional talent. It is the biggest reliance for revitalizing the sect. Zhang Dainiu and Wu Xiaoqi are such people. He doesn't care if other sect leaders delay talents for the sake of his own strength. He wouldn't do such a thing of picking sesame seeds after losing watermelons. No matter how strong the power of the sect is, what use can it be? They were not weak when they searched for the Daoist sect, but in the end, they almost ended up deposing the sect. A strong person is useless. He must cultivate various talents and work together with him to lift the beam of the Daoist sect. Only in this way can no one dare to take action against them. Wang Dao withdrew his thoughts and put the Qi crystal into the storage ring. He smiled slightly and said, "Okay, from today on, Yudi, you are the eldest senior sister, Daniel, you are the second senior brother, Xiaoqi, you are the youngest junior brother. The three of them were taken aback and looked at Mu Liener in surprise. Wang Dao waved his hand and smiled, you don't need to look at Liener. You also understand the situation of the Daoist sect. Allowing Liener to join the sect was just a temporary measure. With you now, there is no need to let her continue to be a disciple. I will erase her aura later. Yes. I will obey your master's orders. The three of them changed their voices in unison, okay. Coming to find the lonely little sect of the Daoist sect, shouldn't you be very unwilling? Wang Dao asked with a smile, no. Master is too worried. Sun Yudi quickly replied, and Zhang Dainiu and Wu Xiaoqi also lowered their heads in fear. Ha ha ha. Don't be nervous. Actually, if you don't say it, I understand. But I want to tell you that joining the Dao-seeking sect will be your lifelong luck. Yudi, come forward. Yes, Sun Yudi took a step forward. Wang Dao's wrist flipped and several white rays flew out of the storage ring, two of which flew toward Sun Yudi, while the other three landed at her feet. Sun Yudi quickly held onto the white light in front of her with her hand. When the white light dissipated, she saw two more books in her hand. Sun Yudi looked at the book in her hand. The book turned yellow and seemed very outdated, but the names on the pages seemed to have a heavy pressure, making her instinctively feel that these two books were not ordinary. At this moment, the voice of Wang Dao came over. Yudi, these are the martial arts and techniques I have given you, including the 5-flame Brahma technique and the 13 heartbreaking swords, at the level of Emperor. Boom. In one sentence, 5 thunderbolts. Sun Yudi, Zhang Dainiu, Wu Xiaoqi, including Mu Liener, suddenly widened their eyes and looked at Wang Dao in disbelief, not believing in their own ears. Imperial level. How could Xuandao sect possibly possess such martial arts and techniques? Even for the God-seeking sect, the imperial level can only be possessed by the master sect. But how could Wang Dao be so carefree and leave it to her? Sun Yudi felt a bit confused, her brain couldn't even think. But it's not over yet, because the voice of the king once again came through, as if he didn't stop until he scared them to death. Oh, by the way, the equipment on the ground is also prepared for you. The flying feather set is mainly light and agile, with a slightly lower level. It's a top-level item. You can make do with it first, and I'll give you a better one later. Listening to Wang Dao's somewhat awkward tone, Sun Yudi had a feeling of shattered values. A top-notch product, is it a poor grade? Master. Don't you know that the equipment of the God-seeking sect is only the 3rd level of the heavenly level? Are you trying to prove that the Dao-seeking sect is not inferior to the God-seeking sect, and have you become insane? Chapter 9. Refreshes the insane. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Master, this is too valuable. I dare not accept it. After being shocked, Sun Yudi immediately reacted and quickly bent down to hand back the 2 books, his face filled with fear. Wang Dao retorted, oh. Why not dare? Sun Jieyu was a bit dumbfounded. Is there any need to ask? This is a treatment that only the head of a higher level sect has. As a newly introduced disciple of a lower level sect, how can she enjoy such treatment? I am only a spiritual and physical talent, and I am truly deserving of such imperial level martial arts and equipment, as well as heavenly level equipment. I earnestly request my master to take it back. Sun Yudi changed his words and respectfully replied, so, if you're not a spiritual talent, you can accept it with peace of mind. Wang Dao said with a smile, ah. Sun Yudi was dumbfounded again. What does this mean, master? Wang Dao reached out and patted Sun Yudi on the shoulder, saying with a smile, all right, as I just said, you will never regret becoming disciples of the Xuandao sect. This is just a small piece of skin. In the future, you will know that Xuandao sect is a sect with countless wonders. Since you call me master, then listen to me. After you go back in a while, you will start practicing the 5 flames Brahma technique, converting your internal energy. Then you will find out why I said you have more than just spiritual body talents. Remember, you deserve these, and even if they don't match you, let's consider it a transition. Wang Dao's words made Sun Yudi completely dumbfounded, but then a blazing passion rose in her heart. The meaning behind Wang Dao's words is already very clear. She is by no means a spiritual talent. Sun Yudi doesn't know why his master would be so certain, but his confident tone forced her to believe it. Do our master really have any abilities that even higher level sects do not have? There must be. Otherwise, how can we explain these imperial level secrets and heavenly level equipment? At this moment, Sun Yudi's concept of seeking Taoism and the royal way completely changed. No longer the conventional respect, but the gratitude for her cultivation and respect, and the longing to control her talents. She felt that coming to the Taoist sect was probably the luckiest thing in her life. Yes. Sun Yudi's voice trembled as she suppressed her inner excitement and gratefully said, "Thank you, master, disciple." Wang Dao nodded in satisfaction, then raised his hand and flew several white hairs towards Zhang Dainiu, one of which came to Zhang Dainiu's face. Zhang Dainiu quickly reached out to catch it, and the white light dissipated, revealing a book in his hand. Daniel, this is the 3 Emperors body separation technique, an imperial level body refining technique. From now on, this will be your main cultivation technique. Another imperial level martial art. It's still a body refining technique. This once again shocked 4 people, including Mu Lianer. Fortunately, after what happened just now, everyone recovered quickly. Zhang Dainiu scratched his head and asked innocently, "Master, isn't I also a natural talent in mortal form?" "Huh, if you're not a mortal talent, would I give you the body refining technique?" The body refining technique has nothing to do with the realm talent. Wang Dao laughed upon hearing this. Zhang Dainiu quickly shook his head and handed over the technique, saying, "Then I dare not take it. It would be a waste for me. You should give it to junior brother Xiaoqi or your future junior brothers and sisters. The ordinary level technique I am currently practicing is quite good." Wang Dao pointed at Zhang Dainiu with tears in his eyes, laughing and cursing, "You silly cow, I gave you naturally because you deserve it. Your realm talent is indeed mortal, but your body refining talent is extraordinary. Your child is born to follow the path of body refining, and these 3 emperors are also transitional. Practice first, and I will give you higher in the future." Ah! Should I practice my body? No wonder when I borrowed my senior brother's body cultivation technique to practice, I found it quite impressive. Zhang Dainiu nodded foolishly upon hearing this. Wang Dao couldn't help but twitch at the corner of his mouth. Every body refining technique, there is no one who doesn't self-harm. How could this kid feel comfortable? I really deserve to have no superior, by the way. This body refining talent is not a TikTok talent, is it? On the other hand, Sun Yudi couldn't help but brighten up upon hearing these words, which further confirmed her conjecture that her master definitely has the ability to see the talents of others. This ability is simply incredible, isn't it? At this moment, Sun Yudi became even more eager and curious about her talent. Denyo, the equipment on the ground is a heavy earth suit, which is mainly used for defense. The internal energy stimulation can increase gravity, making it convenient for you to refine your body. Don't take it off unless you take a shower. Wait until the 3 emperors have achieved a small split before taking it off, Wang Dao instructed. "Oh, I'll listen to master." Zhang Dainiu nodded honestly and then began to wear his equipment, seemingly intending to wear it now. Wang Dao secretly laughed, this kid is real. He didn't care about Zhang Dainiu either. The white light in the storage ring flew out again and landed in front of Wu Xiaoqi this time. 2 white ons fell into Wu Xiaoqi's hands, but 4 white ons fell on the ground, one of which was more than 3 people tall. When the white light dissipated, it was discovered that the 3 tall white lights were actually a cauldron carved from white jade, and what Wu Xiaoqi held was not a secret script, but 2 storage rings. Wu Xiaoqi looked at Wang Dao in surprise, and Wang Dao explained with a smile, "Xiaoqi, your realm talent and body refining talent are both average. In fact, you are very clear about where your talent is, right?" "Yes, master. I know my cultivation talent is average, so I applied to become a medicine boy while searching for the divine sect. I think I still have some talent in this area." Wu Xiaoqi quickly replied. Wang Dao shook his head and said, "It's not just some talent, but a lot of talent, so you deserve this Imperial Jade King Cauldron and the Imperial Gold Phoenix Pill Fire in the storage ring. It's an Imperial level again. Is it true that in the search for the Daoist sect, the Imperial level has already been shipped in batches? Also, you can take a look at what's inside the other ring." Before Wu Xiaoqi could react, Wang Dao spoke again. Wu Xiaoqi was taken aback and quickly breathed in a hint of internal energy, seeing the situation in another storage ring. Hiss. In an instant, Wu Xiaoqi took a cold breath and his small eyes widened like copper bells. In the storage medicine garden, there are actually hundreds of centenary elixirs. And there are also millennium elixirs. Wu Xiaoqi exclaimed in silence, "What?" Sun Yudi and Mu Lianer exclaimed in surprise upon hearing this. Only Zhang Dainu had a silly expression on his face, wondering what they were surprised by while continuing to wear equipment. After all, his talent cannot be found in high-level sects like the God-seeking sect, and his personality naturally does not want to learn about medicine. Is the medicine quite complete? If there's anything missing, let me know and I'll find a way to get it for you. The foundation of our Daoist sect is not bad, Wang Dao smiled, "Master." Wu Xiaoqi regained his senses and suddenly knelt down on the ground, handing back the storage ring with a look of fear. He said, "Please take it back, master. This is really too valuable, I dare not take it." Even Sun Yudi nodded in agreement and looked at Wang Dao seriously. "Where is this valuable? This is simply outrageous and precious. Not to mention the lower-level sects, it's the higher-level sections. If we knew Wu Xiaoqi had such a precious treasure in his hands, he would probably have braved the danger of going to war with the God-seeking sect and killed to seize the treasure. And what if Wu Xiaoqi rebels? These treasures are enough to make him sit as an elder in any high-level sect. What can he do to find a low-level sect of the Daoist sect? I can only watch and see, and the God-seeking sect will not stand out for the Dao-seeking sect. After all, the subordinate sects have such treasures, and they are not cheap to their own people. Who can be comfortable with them? Wu Xiaoqi and Sun Yudi really don't know what their master thinks. Aren't these precious treasures even considered treasures in his eyes? Can we give it to anyone as they please? Master, do you truly break the definition of madness? Chapter 10. 10,000 Years of Enlightenment Stone. You are listening at novelfull.audio. They didn't know that this thing was really not a treasure for the royal family. Wang Dao reached out and helped Wu Xiaoqi up, patting his shoulder heavily. He said seriously, "Xiaoqi, the Xuandao sect has always had absolute trust in its disciples. This is the Xuandao sect's principle. Although it almost led to the abolition of the sect due to this principle, it is not the fault of the principle, but rather my father's lack of recognition and improper education in the past. Now that I have become the leader of the sect, I will not change this principle because I believe that my vision is stronger than my father's, and I also believe that the disciples I have chosen will never betray the sect. I will not take back things, and it will be too troublesome for you to come and take them time and time again. Let's just treat it as a master's order." Wang Dao's warm smile and sincere words made Wu Xiaoqi burst into tears, and even made Sun Yudi and Zhang Dainu feel passionate. The sect that trusts its disciples so much may not exist in the entire 10 Directions continent anymore. At this moment, they really feel that joining the Daoist sect is the luckiest thing in their life. Wu Xiaoqi knelt down again in excitement and choked up, saying, "Master Xie. I swear that I will never leave the sect in this lifetime. I will refine pills for the sect for the rest of my life and never regret it until death. Wang Dao smiled bitterly and helped Wu Xiaoqi up, saying, "Did you treat me like a prison? This is for the master, responsible for the sect." Wu Xiaoqi said solemnly. Wang Dao rolled his eyes and said, "All right, it's not that serious. The equipment on the ground is a life protection set. Its main function is to immediately teleport you back to the sect when you are in critical danger. You can also use your internal energy to activate it on your own, and when you feel threatened, you can immediately teleport it back to the sect. Although it's only used 3 times and will be scrapped after use, our sect has this set. You can go out at any time without worrying." Wu Xiaoqi, Sun Yudi, and Zhang Dainiu looked at each other with surprise and a bitter smile in their eyes. "What are the sky-level suits available? I'm afraid only my own master can speak such words. Oh, by the way, you guys come with me." Wang Dao seemed to remember something and beckoned the 3 of them to enter the Shudao Hall. They left the left door and arrived at a mansion. In the courtyard, there is only one huge mansion, divided into 5 floors. Pushing open the gate, one can see that it is empty on all sides, with only one staircase leading to the upper floor and 5 rows of 20.5 cattails. As the 3 of them stepped into the door, they felt a clear and bright light in their minds. It seemed that many things that were previously difficult to understand in terms of cultivation had found their way at this moment. Especially Sun Yudi, she actually felt like she had signs of breaking through. Sun Yudi looked at Wang Dao in surprise and quickly asked, "Master, is this the Wudao Hall of our Daoist sect?" The Great Hall of Wudao is a common place in the 10 continents, located in every sect. It is specifically designed for talented disciples to practice. With the Enlightenment Stone as the eye of the array, set the Enlightenment array so that the people in the array can absorb the essence of the Enlightenment Stone and speed up their cultivation. Wang Dao nodded and said with a smile, "Yes, this is the Hall of Enlightenment. The first floor is for martial arts enlightenment, the second floor is for martial arts enlightenment, and the third and fourth floors are for deep enlightenment. You can't improve your cultivation yet. Let's wait until you reach your mental state. The array I is on the 5th floor, which is specifically designed for you to break through bottlenecks." Sun Yudi didn't even listen to Wang Dao's explanation. After all, this rule is similar to every sect, and Sun Yudi had already understood it. She quickly asked, "Master, can you tell me how old this Wudao stone is? How do you feel that I'm about to break through?" Zhang Dainiu and Wu Xiaoqi also nodded in agreement. Although it was not as obvious as Sun Yudi felt, they also showed a hint of wanting to break through. "Feeling it. This is the 10,000-year Wudao stone. If you don't feel anything, then I really want to cry." Wang Dao smiled. "For thousands of years." Sun Yudi cried out in silence, completely unable to control her emotions. Zhang Dainiu and Wu Xiaoqi were also shocked. You should know that this Wudao stone is also graded, and the higher the year, the higher the level. Even for higher level sects like the God-seeking sect, external disciples are only equipped with Wudao stones that have been used for more than 5 years and less than 10 years. The inner gate is only over 20 years old, but under 50 years old. A disciple passed down personally, with a maximum of only about 100 years. The true disciple of Zhangzong, with a maximum of about 300 years. The elders within the sect, as well as the guest ministers, have only been around for about 500 years. Even if it is a sect leader, it will never exceed 1,000 years. And the 10,000-year-old Wudao stone, let alone being used, Sun Yudi has never heard of it. Even for the Holy Domain sect, she has heard that the Zhangzong only uses about 5,000 years of Wudao stone. But now, as a low-level sect like the Xuandao sect, it has used the Wudao stone for thousands of years. It's still for these disciples to use. This is simply a fantasy. No one believes me even when I say it. It can be imagined how shocking Sun Yudi and his 3 companions were. Wang Dao looked at the three of them dumbfounded and chuckled inwardly. Of course, he knew the level of the Wudao stone. He already had some naive memories, and with the help of a comprehensive collection of common sense, he became even more aware of the value of the Wudao stone for thousands of years. Along with the gift of books, treasures, and the current Wudao stone, Wang Dao not only wants to satisfy his vanity, but the most important thing is to make these three geniuses feel the extraordinary nature of the Daoist sect and the great future of the Daoist sect. This is just a trick he used to win people's hearts, and this is also the experience he gained in his past life in novels. However, as an abandoned mansion in his past life, he is a bit powerless to do such eye-catching things. He is not very satisfied with his performance today, so he can only make do for now. Wang Dao didn't say anything more. Before the three of them could react, he turned around and walked out of the hall, saying, "All right, the sect's strength is not strong now, so we can only rely on you for now. Since we feel like we need to break through, let's practice here and call you back for dinner." After speaking, he walked out of the Wudao hall and closed the door for them. When they heard the sound of the door closing, the three of them finally came to their senses. Wu Xiaoqi looked back at the door in confusion and asked, "Senior sister, second senior brother, do you think that master seemed very anxious to leave just now? Perhaps master has something else to do. After all, this Dao-seeking sect is completely different from what we imagined. It's so surprising." Sun Yudi still had a shocked expression on her face. How do they know that besides the three of them, there is nothing else that the Daoist sect can do? It's entirely because Wang Dao has run out of words, and the scenes he prepared have only supported him to this day. He doesn't even know what to say anymore. Holding the airs of a sect leader is very tiring, and if he continues to pretend, he will reveal his true feelings. Although it's important to know his character sooner or later, it's also good to maintain his dignity for an extra day. Hee, senior sister, we are really lucky to be traded to the Xuandao sect this time. The master is so kind to us. And the master is too powerful. I thought this would be the end of my life. I didn't expect that in the master's eyes, I was still a genius, hee. Zhang Dainiu chuckled foolishly. Well, master's ability in the foundation of the Daoist sect are not as common people know. Sun Yudi looked at the two of them seriously and said, "Master treats us with sincerity and trust. We must not disappoint master by sharing so many sect secrets. Since master asked me to be this senior sister, then I will put on the airs of a senior sister once. Even if master trades us in the future, we must never reveal the secrets of our sect. Otherwise, I will never give up on the ends of the earth. Yes. Please rest assured, senior sister." Zhang Dainiu and Wu Xiaoqi replied solemnly. Sun Yudi smiled and nodded. "Okay, then let's listen to our master and practice quickly. Our sect's strength is too weak now, and our master's realm is far inferior to that of other low-level sections. We need to argue and improve our master's strength as soon as possible." "Understood." The two of them responded solemnly in unison. After speaking, the three of them sat cross-legged on the futon, closed their eyes, and practiced with more energy than any other practice. At this moment, they have fully integrated into the Dao-seeking sect, taking the strength of the sect as their responsibility. "Young master, where are they?" Mu Liener asked curiously as she watched Wang Dao return to the main hall of the search path. "I'm practicing in the Wudao hall. Let's go call them when we have dinner tonight." As soon as Wang Dao returned, he sat in a chair without any image, picked up a tea bowl, took a big sip, and said helplessly, "You're too tired, Liener. Come over and give the young master a massage." Mu Liener pursed her lips and snorted, "I won't give the young master any pressure. It's all the young master's fault, and we'll all be from the same sect in the future. We'll know sooner or later. What should we pretend to be? Besides, pretending is not good at all." Speaking, Mu Liener obediently walked behind Wang Dao and began to massage him. "Hee, it's better for Liener." Wang Dao smiled shamelessly and then sighed helplessly. "Whether it's good or not is just like this. I've put in a lot of effort to eat milk. The first time we meet, we must be a bit different, right? Otherwise, it seems unreliable for us to search for the Taoist sect. Fortunately, with these things to support us, they won't depreciate. Speaking of this, Mu Lianer asked curiously, by the way, young master, why doesn't Lianer know that our Taoist sect still has so many treasures? Are they all left for you by the master? Guess what? Wang Dao smiled and said. Mu Liang pouted and said, forget it. Lianer doesn't want to know yet. I'll go tidy up their room and ignore the young master. Watching Mu Lianer leave, Wang Dao smiled and shrugged his shoulders, muttering to himself, girl, it's not that I didn't tell you, it's just that there are some things that I really can't say.